Undisputed champ. We said every fight we get another Richard, but we got 2 Richards, so this time we going pat it. 5980 rose gold. And then we got a big DHP piece in emeralds. And we got 18 pieces for the squad. Come get it. D, what we doing?
It was only right I like the team with the DHP pieces. I love the RMs, but this Protect it's different.
28-0, baby.
Undisputed.
We left Australia with all the belts.
Undisputed.
The gym is amazing. We've got the ring fitted now, so it's something I've dreamed about for a long time, for maybe 10 years now. I couldn't wait to have my own gym, my own spot. And look, I ain't out here buying, diamond chains and all this rubbish. I'm here investing in myself, getting the best of it, the state of the art gym equipment.
Being the lead promoter on a fight of this magnitude, but then you have, of course, me and Devin, the Cinderella story of where we come from to where we are now. You have George Kambosos, who's been underrated for so long, who's been waiting for his shot. Then go home, him and his dad, Jim, to have an opportunity to launch his promotional company, Ferocious Promotions. It's also top ranked. And Bob Arum, who had enough smarts to push all the personal stuff aside, not make it personal, and put the deal on the table that Devin accepted. So like I said, it's a true Cinderella story that we're all participating on it. I think on June 4th, it's going to be fireworks. Look to see a new and improved Devin, a Devin that you haven't seen, and put on a hell of a performance and a hellacious ass whipping on George Kambosos.
On another note, I do want to get your take on all these fighters. You brought up George Kambosos starting his own promotional company. I believe you said Ferocious Promotion. I believe Devin Haney was the youngest champion or fighter of all time that started his own promotional company and came into the game and capitalized, talking straight to the network instead of talking to the promoter and getting a purse. He talked to the network and gets the whole pop. In and out of the business, you did a great job with Devin Haney marketing him, so on and so forth. So can you talk about that? The fact that a lot of fighters are following the Devin Haney blueprint when it comes to starting your own promotional company and capitalizing on the money you could make as a professional fighter from an early age.
Oh, absolutely. That's what we did it for, was to inspire other fighters. We were looking and thinking that it would inspire the fighters that came after Devin, the fathers and sons that wanted to be in control of their destiny. We know that the big three, like I tend to call them, this is not the blueprint that they designed, right? We had to actually design it ourselves, being a dad and, a fighter like Devin, right, to stay down and make this thing happen. But, shout out to George and Jim with Ferocious Promotions and Javante Davis with GTD Promotions and King Ride Promotions. I'm starting to hear a whole lot of them. Lions Only, Man Down Promotions. That's what is supposed to be happening. I'm happy that Devin is being considered as a pioneer in the sport for, doing these kind of things. Not only becoming the youngest promoter, but also dispelling any kind of rumor that it's a side of the street, that fighters aren't able to make the fights happen that are legacy-defining fights when those fights happen, when they're comfortable and when they're ready, instead of hiding behind the promoter and hiding behind networks and saying things that push the sport back to the horse and buggy days. So I'm happy. I'm excited about it. I say Ferocious Promotions. I think that Peter Khan, who isn't talked about a whole lot, a good manager. He has Kambosos, but he also has The girl that just won, the Undisputed, Frershawn, super middleweight girl. He has some fighters, but he has George Kambosos. And we did a lot of back and forth negotiating to make this fight happen as well. He's doing a great job. And a lot of times, a lot of these guys, they're not held in high esteem, but they work their ass off. You know what I'm saying? Peter Kahn is one guy that does, you know, and I always like to give credit where credit is due. What we say in Oakland is give them their grams.
On the last note, so when you hear a guy like George Kambosos say, Devin Haney, he's wasting his money on jewelry and dissing him for blowing his money here and there, and he bragging about his investments that he's making, so on and so forth. What's your reaction to that when you know, obviously, firsthand that Devin Haney made some smart investments when it comes to, you know, starting his own promotional company, knowing how to capitalize on the game?
Well, we call that pocket watching. You know what I'm saying? I think that Devin, and I'm very proud of him and what he's accomplished and what he does. I'm proud of him as a father. What he buys and what he does, that's his business. I know that we've had a boxing gym when Devin was 8, 9, 10 years old. We understand and we know what having a gym is. I think George does a lot of bragging in terms of him having his own gym. It was one thing about us with having the gym, it got harder to bring the fighters in. So we closed our gym down and went looking for the fighters. You know, we went looking for the work. You know what I'm saying? Right? Versus just sitting at a gym waiting for them to come. You know, we would go knock on their door. So I don't give necessarily having your own gym a whole lot of credit. You know what I mean? But let's worry about June 4th and putting on a show for the people, right? And then we can talk about all the investment stuff and what he's doing and what he should be doing. I think that the people are tuning in for a fight. They're not tuning in for a class on investments.
Yes, yes, sir. Now, Eid Mubarak, Bill, pleasure having you back on the show. Like always, any last note you want to leave to the fans?
June 4th, the Super Bowl of the lightweight division, live, Melbourne, Australia, on ESPN. Kambosos versus Devin Haney. Fireworks. No more talk. No more talk at all about the belts. One belt, one champion. And that's Undisputed. June 4th.
That's the class act, Bill Haney. Pleasure having you like always.
The 8th fighter in the 4-belt era to become the undisputed champion of the world. How does that sound?
Alhamdulillah, all praise due to Allah. Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar!